Blog Talk Radio.
I'd like to dedicate this to all of the Creator's righteous children. I have some food in my bag for you. Not that edible food, that food you eat? No. I have some food for thought. Since knowledge is infinite, it has infinitely fell on me.
There's just one thing I wanna say.
Bro, I'ma give it to you with no trivia. Roll like cocaine straight from Bolivia.
If your knowledge were your wealth, then it would be well earned. The man that knows something knows that he knows nothing at all.
There's just one thing I wanna say.
I came to bring the pain, hardcore from the brain. Let's go inside my astral plane, find out my mental based on
Notion deeper than the ocean. Check.
Hello all, and welcome to the very first airing of the internet-based radio show like no other, Our Two Cents Worth, where we pick each other's brains, explore, and engage each other's minds. I'm Miss B. I have here with me my very intelligent and on occasion prickish, but fairly open-minded co-host who loves to play devil's advocate, the one and only Just Thoughts. Today we are talking about what it is to love someone as opposed to being in love with someone, and is there a difference between the two? Hopefully, at the end of the segment, we'll all have an answer to that question, or at least a clue as to how we all feel on the subject and a consensus view. But hopefully we'll pick it apart and come to a logical or plausible, at the least, conclusion on the topic. Jess?
Greetings and welcomes to the listeners tuning in. And as Ms. B just stated, I'm Just Thoughts. We want to welcome you to the very first airing of Our Two Cents Worth. It's an honor to have you as we embark on this journey of exploring opinions, views, and thoughts in each and every single Sunday at 5 p.m. Now, today's topic is love. In love, is there a difference? And what I mean by that is oftentimes we hear people make the statement, I love him or her, but I'm not in love with him or her. And me personally, I disagree with that statement. I really don't truly see how you can love a person in any manner and not be in love with the person. Whether you say you love your mother, father, sibling, boyfriend, or girlfriend, the fact is that you do say you love them, and that in itself dictates that you're in love with them.
But just don't you agree that when you're in love with someone, there's certain emotions you have for them that you don't automatically have and often never have for other people that you love?
Well, I mean, what I believe you're speaking of, and what I believe that people often confuse or rather mistake, is that you categorize it into a certain, or rather pigeonhole it into romance, and that in itself, you're right in doing so, but it doesn't change the fact that it's the emotion of love in itself. If you have that emotion for somebody, whatever in whatever aspect it is that you love that person, whether it be, as I stated before, your mother, father, sibling, or whatever, just by you being or having love for that person, that alone says, I'm in love with this person now. There's a difference, because of course you're not going to want to sleep with your mother unless you're a redneck hillbilly from the country, I mean.
You said wrong. I'm saying, though, you are attributing it to something sexual, and I'm saying I don't really think it has anything to do with sex or anything sexual, actually, at all. I feel you can be in love with someone and just miss them dearly, and actually even not be able to reciprocate feelings for another person that might be in love with you because you're in love with someone else. You can be in love with someone and never have sex with them, or even think of having sex with them. So I don't think that
a prime example, your mother or your sister, which is what I'm trying to tell you.
No. You're missing the point of what I'm saying. You're saying that what people attribute being quote-unquote in love or being quote-unquote in love has something to do with romance or sex. And I don't agree with that. Not to say that you could be in love with your mother or sibling, because I don't believe that. But I feel that to say you're in love with someone, society's saying that, isn't necessarily they're saying that they have a sexual attraction to a person.
Well, let me explain something to you. In my opinion, When a person says, I love him or her, but I'm not in love with him or her, it really denotes, as a sexual chemistry, along with the aspect of sharing a life together or certain things that go with a relationship.
Well, why do you feel it has anything to do with sex? That's what I'm missing.
It's not just sex. It's not just sex. Sex is one of the factors of it, because they go, right along with it is romance and the want or the longing to share a life together with this person. And again, I would go as far as saying that, you love people in a different way, but you're still in love with the person, because Webster Dictionary defines love as a profound, tender, passionate affection for another person and a feeling of warm, personal attachment or deep affection as for a parent, child, or friend. Okay? And that in itself is just love, period, in general. There's no definition for love, and then there's a definition for in love.
It is not. I agree with you. There is not a definition for being in love with someone. You cannot see why there's a different emotion attached when people say they're in love with someone. Why they couldn't say they're in love with someone else that they don't have the same feelings for as the person they feel they're in love with. What is the differentiation that person is making? What tag are they attaching to that feeling? What is that extra feeling? It has to have a definition. Okay, you can't find it in a dictionary, but it has to be, I'm not the only person that would feel this way. So there has to be some explanation for this. We won't even say in love anymore. I don't know what to call it. But whatever this feeling is that I'm sure you can at least identify what I'm speaking of, right?
No, I understand, but in mind you,
what is that?
Okay, the cultural norm about being in love, again, in my opinion, refers to a psychosexual romantic feeling or thought towards another person, okay? And that's where people get it confused, and that's where people try to place a differentiation on the whole thing. And to me, and it's cool because you need that line, I guess, to differentiate, how you love a person. But love itself, when you love somebody, you're in love. You understand what I'm saying? Now, you might be in love with your mother in a certain way, but you might be in love with your boyfriend in a different way. It doesn't mean that when I say I'm in love with my mother, it doesn't mean I feel for my mother the way I would feel for a girlfriend or a wife or anything of that matter. The whole gist of what I'm trying to say is that once love comes into play, once you say you love a person, you're in love.
Okay, now let me ask you this. By your definition, which you just explained to me, is there not anyone that you feel that you do love, but you do not have those same sentiments towards them that you have towards your mother, where you feel you're in love with her? You know what I mean? Is there anyone that you feel you love that you don't have those same feelings towards?
See, again,
in the aspect of that relationship, of course.
Okay, but see, that's where you're trying to differentiate love in all the different aspects of the love. That's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is that when check this example out. Let's bring in my mother. I love my mother, and I feel that being that I love my mother, I'm in love with my mother. Mm-hmm. Now, I have a friend, and I've known this friend for, let's say, years upon years.
Right.
And I say I love my friend because we've shared, we've experienced certain things, and we've gone through a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, do I love that friend to the extent and in the amount of my mother? No, because nobody